My name is Dan Harris. I'm a beekeeper. I'm opening hives today. This will be my first real hive opening marathon. I've gotten an hour here and an hour there in the past month, but it's March 11th and today it's overcast, but it's in the 60s, so it's going to be a good day to be in the bee yards. What I bring with me typically, I tend to bring a nuke box. I don't know if you see that, but there's a whole nuke box. Mainly because, all right, when I get into this hive, for example, I find some frames with queen cells on the bottom. I can put them in this box without damaging them. And I'll keep them in there until I'm sure either there's a queen in place or not. And if I find a queen and she appears to still be laying, then I will cut those cells. But I won't do it until I'm sure I have a laying queen in place. Got my handy dandy old smoker, Old Faithful hive tool. I like these kinds of hive tools. I usually bring a couple of empty, deep hive bodies. And what I do is as I'm moving frames out of this with honey, pollen, bees, and brood, and I need somewhere to put them, I'll put them in this deep box. And I'll take the top off of this box, turn it upside down. I'll put this deep empty box on top of it, kind of catty corner, and then I will begin to migrate frames over to it as I take them out of this. I always bring a long sleeve shirt. Today I'm wearing it. Again, it's still pretty early in the season. I don't think we have any real nectar coming in yet, not of consequence. Probably a lot of pollen coming in, but not new nectar. And so the bees tend to be cranky. And so I am just going to go ahead and put my long sleeve shirt on. I just presume the worst. I'm just not nuts about getting stuck. And today I'm probably going to wear gloves as well. Probably by April, when we have a real nectar flow going, I'll shift away from it, but I'll always have them with me. I always have them with me because you just don't ever know when you're going to encounter some bees that are having a bad day and they want to share the misery. So let's see what's in this hive. This is a 3 deep, overwintered. This hive's been here for about 6 years, 7 years, and I've never requeened it. They've always managed to requeen themselves. So we're going to give them a little smoke. Just let them know we're coming in. I'm going to take this top off, telescoping cover off, and I'm going to turn it upside down on that stand. You probably can't see that. I'll give them a puff up here just to make sure everybody's expecting me. You don't want to surprise anyone. And I'll take the inner cover off. And so far so good. So far so good. Nothing real exciting. Looks like a lot of honey. I think I can pull that whole box off of there. First thing I do is I choose a frame. I try to choose one that does not have a lot of bees in the seams, so that first frame that comes out, I'm not dragging a bunch of bees off, which tends to agitate them. So I don't want to start off on the wrong foot. Usually this particular box doesn't have a lot of bees up here, I think mostly because it's just honey. We get down further, you'll see it. But I always tell people the first is the worst when it comes to removing frames. The first is the worst. So we're going to come over to this one, a little off center, and I'm going to take the fat part of this tool and I'm going to separate it from the adjoining frame where the bees have glued it together. Going to do the same on that side, the same on that side, and the same on that side. So it's broken free from the adjoining frames. Then when I go under this, I can do it without pulling this top bar loose or damaging the ears on it. And if you look, that's a deep frame full of honey. So these bees really are, they're doing pretty well. But by the same token, this will be these will be hives that will be ready to swarm pretty early. And that, I don't have enough light. I'm getting old. And my, Huh. All right, I want you to see this. This is a swarm cell. And not only is it a swarm cell, but it is a normally opened swarm cell. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the swarm cell is on the bottom of the frame, and you see the top is opened away. So evidently a queen emerged from that. Now, a week ago, I had a swarm from this yard. Based on this, I would not be surprised for it to have come from this hive. Earlier, I'm not seeing any brood. I'm seeing some drones. So, I see a drone right here, and a drone right there, and a drone right there, and a drone. They're all over the place. So we got a lot of drones. Again, March 11th, and we already have plenty of drones. Surprised for them to have swarmed. I'm confident that most of the hives in this yard have not swarmed, that this was just an early bird. So I don't really expect to find the queen. She may even be out on mating flights today, as this is probably, oh, there's another queen cell. Does not appear to have emerged. And a lot of other goop. And I'll clean that goop off. See, now that makes me nervous. Okay, so I have that queen cell. It appears intact. So I am going to put that one in the nuke box separate, just until I kind of get a better sense of what might be going on in here. So we're going to take this box off. One of the other things I do, and it's in deference to small hive beetles, I generally don't take the outermost frames out of my hives unless I have reason to. If the bees are doing their job, they will have driven small hive beetles away from the core nest to the furthest reaches that they can. And generally, when I find small hive beetles, they're in their outer frames, on the outside of these outer frames where the bees have driven them. And the problem becomes if I take these frames out, then it disrupts the whole equation, and the bees then have to re-corral those things, and it gives them an opportunity, gives the small hive beetles an opportunity to create problems. I'd be surprised if we find as much honey down in here as we did up there. So what I tend to do is the same as I did with the box above. I look for a frame that I can separate from its neighbors, that doesn't have as many bees on it as some of the others, if I can find such a thing, and I remove it. And that first is the worst. So what we got going on here is a load of pollen. That frame, there's some honey here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's pollen all down in there. And this side is very similar. Another normally emerged queen cell on the bottom of that. Lots of pollen, no brood. So what that suggests to me is we hopefully have a new queen on mating flights. I'll quit. And look at there, there's more. More queen cells. Now, and there's queen. right here. I don't know if you can see her or not, but there's an unmated queen right there. Whoop, 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 whoop. You see her running around? So what I will do moving forward as I find these is I'll cut them out. I think she's already done the job for me. Oh yeah, I think she's already, this one, if you were to look, and I'm not going to try to mark her when she's unmated. I don't want to disturb the pheromones, but if you look at this queen cell, if you can see right there, there's a hole in the side of it. It's clear that a queen came along and killed her rival in the cell. And maybe all of them are going to be that way. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is, rather than disturb this any more than it already is, I don't see any reason to keep this frame out any longer. And I don't want to create any more of a disturbance in this hive than I already have. And there's that queen. She's all right. She's still on that frame. So I'm going to just button it up and let nature take its course. There we are. Telescope and cover on, and these people are ready to go. I'll make a note on the top. You know, I always tell myself, well, I'll remember what I saw in there. Well, you know what? By the end of the day, I'll say, now what was going on in that one? So if I put a note on the top, that note with a Sharpie will last a month in the sun, and then it'll bleach. But really, if it's the kind of notation that only needs a month's worth of attention, then it's more than adequate. So I'm putting the date, some notes that, so I'll know kind of what I'm looking at the next time I come in. What I did was I put QV, it stands for, I saw a queen, she was virgin, and there was evidence that the hive had swarmed. So when I come back the next time, you know, if I've got brood in there, I'll know it's a 2019 queen, and there you'll have it. So